welcome to my channel. My name is Caylbarb on social media. And today, if you have read the caption title of this video, this is going to be an anxiety and depression Q&A. So basically, you guys have been asking me questions throughout the last week, and I have a bunch. I have some on my laptop, which is right here. I have some in my journal, and I'm just going to go through each one. Everything is going to be anonymous. I'm not going to say who asked me. I'm not going to, no one needs to know about, who asked what. I mean, at least in my opinion, I don't think so. So I'm just going to go through a bunch of questions. First, I'm going to go through my journal, and then I'm going to go through my laptop. There are some similar questions. If there are, I'm probably just going to skip them. If not, just hoping that this video isn't super duper long, as usual, but you know how that goes with me. But yeah. And this is also my first video of my Mental Health Monday series. So basically, every Monday I'm going to post on YouTube a mental health related, bravery related video on my YouTube channel every Monday. So if you do like this type of content, then definitely stick through it on Monday, because why not, right? So yeah, and if you do like this video at the end, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'm so close to 200. I think I'm like 20 away, I think almost, or maybe like 22 away or something like that. I mean, I'm growing a little slowly but sure. But yeah, so I'm just going to get on started with this video. I have my Harry Potter journal with powder all over it. And I have about 9 questions in here. I have a few in there. So I'm just going to try and be detailed but brief as possible. So my first question is, how did you first accept that it's true? So how did I first accept, also if you hear, I have my lawn mowing people outside, so I do apologize, but I do need to make this video. But the question is, how did you first accept that it's true? So basically, how did I accept that I had anxiety and depression? Basically, it was when I got diagnosed. That's when it became very clear to me. I always knew I had anxiety, but I think it was more of me being in denial with the depression. Like, I always thought depression was something that I needed to hide, something that I thought it couldn't be true. My family's gonna judge me, friends are gonna judge me. This is something that I can't live with. I don't want to be sad all the time. Like, it was just something that I was really in denial about. But it really became really clear and like out there when I was diagnosed. So that was about 3 years ago. And I'm 26. I was about 23 years old. When I did learn how to accept it, it wasn't as scary. I think it was just the fact that I was in denial, and people, I was scared what people were going to think, which is also very common with mental illnesses. You always wonder what society's going to think of you, and that was always my issue. So for me, that was a big, big challenge. But then when I knew, it didn't define me, I was more accepting of it. Like, it took me a while to really accept the fact that I did have anxiety and depression, and being able to express it and be open about it. So that's a reason why, like, I have this channel, because, and I post these types of videos and videos like on my Instagram, and I answer you if you DM me and stuff like that, because I want you to feel I don't want you to feel trapped. I don't want you to feel like you need to hide. I want you to feel like you're able to express who you are. And anxiety and depression does not define you in the least bit. It really doesn't. It doesn't make who you are. So I just think it's really important that if you are curious, if you do have anxiety and depression, you haven't been diagnosed, you can always see a doctor, or you can talk to a therapist. Like I said in my previous video, it's always good to just know and have a medical professional tell you this is what you have. It's a little bit overwhelming at first, but it's not something that's, like a burden. It's not a burden. At least to me, it's not a burden, and you are not a burden. So What are some of your tips? So, I'm not going to exactly explain in this video what my tips are, because I actually am posting a video based off of self-love, self-care, a full-length video. But I will say that journaling helps, yoga helps, meditation helps. These aren't things that I do consistently, but they are things that I do somewhat. I have a really hard time keeping up a routine. If I had like a routine throughout every day, all day, every day, I'd be able to fit everything in. Reading really helps, listening to music, making playlists. I also will have a video on that as well, for different moods. I have a lot of stuff for you guys. I'm trying to think what else. Bullet journaling actually helped me a while back. I actually don't do that anymore, but if you guys do want me to do that, like to just restart it and like make a video about that, I will. That's actually really fun. It really keeps me organized and level-headed. Venting to other people, like someone or people that you trust and know that care for you genuinely. Seeing a therapist is like my biggest thing. I've seen a therapist since I was probably in first grade, but it was like on and off, with my parents not getting along and a lot of stuff going on back in around that time. I had to see a middle school therapist. Also, I had to see a personal therapist who would come get me in class when I was about 6-7 years old, and I would leave class to spend at least an hour with them talking about how I felt with, the separation of my parents. And then I willingly saw a therapist in high school, and then when I went to college, I didn't see a therapist, and then I recently saw a therapist again, who I still see now once a week, for 3 years, and she's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So once you find that person you can actually talk to and be yourself around, it really does make a difference. How long have you dealt with it? So I explained in my last video that I've been dealing with anxiety probably since I was around 6-7 years old. The whole thing about my dad. If you want to hear more details about that, check out that video. It's a little lengthy, but it explains where everything came from. As for the depression, I would probably say it started in high school, but got really, really bad the last 10 years. That's when it got really bad. I was still in high school, but like my freshman year of high school was okay, but like mid-sophomore year, end of sophomore year, that's when it started really like going downhill. So that's that. How do you handle and get through your anxiety attacks? So this is something that I'm still working on. It's good for me. It's good to, if I feel like I'm having an anxiety attack, it's good for me to go outside and get air, or to even like not isolate, but like step out of the area that like I'm in. So usually when I have anxiety attacks, it's usually because there's a lot of people or I'm uncomfortable where I am. So I kind of step back and get away from that environment and those people, and I just kind of talk to myself and collect my thoughts and tell myself I'm okay, everything's going to be all right. Focus on my breathing. There are breathing techniques that I will explain later on in other videos. Also, if you have certain thoughts and you just need to like jot them down, go in your notes on your phone or whatever phone you have. If you have somewhere where you can just type things down, type how you feel. I've done this a few times where it's just like, even if they're angry thoughts or sad thoughts, even if they make you cry, just get it out. Or if you have someone that you're with that you can talk to just really briefly, do that as well. Sometimes when you're in crowded areas, like if you're in a nightclub or, if you're at a concert or something like that, or if you're at a reservation dinner type thing, like it's kind of difficult to have that type of conversation with someone in those types of environments. But it's also really good to just not ignore the panic attacks, because they will, and at least from my experience, they will get worse. It's more beneficial if you realize what's happening, you stop it before it gets worse, and you self-meditate where you're telling yourself that you will be fine. My habit from before was that I would just always let it continue and continue and continue and continue, and it would get worse and worse and worse in that moment. And that's where I think I had trouble of really understanding what was going on, because with my panic attacks, I shake, I get really hot, I sweat, my heart's pounding, I stammer, I don't know like what's going on. It's really difficult when you first experience this for a few times, and I know it's terrifying if you do experience panic attacks, but it does happen, it's going to happen, but there are ways of handling it and making that happen less. I've been dealing with panic attacks for a long time, and I still get them, but I will most definitely have a video where I explain detail to detail of like what I do. But yeah, so that's for another video. I still hope that helped. Do you use makeup art as a coping mechanism? Sometimes. I do. I actually got into makeup because of my anxiety and my depression, which is why my YouTube channel is based off of beauty and bravery. So when I was growing up, I always liked to write. I used to write stories, poems, screenplays. I used to take creative writing classes throughout high school and college. And then I started getting into coloring and painting and drawing. And then when I got older, I just stopped completely. And I felt like that's when my anxiety and my depression really got worse. I didn't have something that I can go to really express myself and get everything out. So I did decide, like I really started, watching Jaclyn Hill. And I'm like, who's Jaclyn Hill and Manny Way and Jeffree Star? Like, who are these people that everyone on Instagram keeps talking about? So I started watching their videos, and I would just practice and practice. I would get little things at Sephora or Ulta, and I would practice, and I actually genuinely enjoyed it. So I sat there and I was like, this could be an expensive little hobby, but it calms me down. It really does. It's very therapeutic for me. I like being creative and artsy. I just started getting into body painting and face painting and just like that creative aspect. I do want to get into special effects a little bit. Like I really want to branch out in the beauty industry, not just strictly eye looks. But I do enjoy eye looks. And in the beginning, I was very like, my anxiety would hit hard with makeup because I was scared of winged eyeliner. I was scared of eyeshadows. I was scared of lashes. I can't even tell you how long I would refuse to wear lashes. I used to be like, I don't need to wear lashes, blah, 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 just to make up an excuse because I was so fearful of it. And now I'm just like, I love me some lashes. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta really, really push yourself when you are passionate about something. Even if you're scared, just do it. And I know it's kind of hard. It's easier said than done. But you have to take that risk. Life is all about taking risks, and that's what I've learned for these last few years. And I think Vincent actually really taught me that. He always taught me that taking risks can either go really wrong or they can go really well. And most of the time they go really well, but you'll never know unless you try. And he's always taught me that. My grandfather always taught me that too, but it was just like I was still kind of scared. But I think Vincent just really drilled it in my head. So there's that. But yes, makeup art is definitely my biggest coping mechanism. And like therapeutic way of expressing myself with anxiety and depression. I'm just checking my time. I'm at 14 minutes. Hopefully I can just like stay at like 25-ish. We'll see. So, what or who has helped you most? So what I have basically kind of talked a little bit about that already. So who, this should be easy to answer. My therapist, obviously, I should have said Vincent first, but I'm going to say my therapist. I saved the best for last. My therapist is definitely one. She helps me a lot. My grandmother helps me a lot. Like, she has helped me throughout my entire life with anxiety and depression. My second mother, I don't like saying stepmother because when you say stepmother, I feel like it's just like a weird term. My second mother, who is Yvette, she helps me in a way where she snaps me back into reality. It's not like, she's very comforting and caring and loving in the sense of, I know if I needed a hug, she would hug me and hold me and tell me everything. Sometimes people always tell me, stuff that I want to hear and I don't ever listen. Or, it'll be okay, you'll get through it, you're fine. It doesn't really, help. I mean, for me, it doesn't. It's really difficult for me to listen to other people. depending on who you are. Also, obviously, Vincent is like the person that really saved me. And I'm not going to mess up my makeup if I start tearing up. He really saved me in the sense that he does bring me back to reality. He teaches me that I shouldn't care what other people think about me or what society says I should do or should look like or should be and stuff like that. Like, you know, I get body shamed all the time. All the time. From friends to family to people I don't even know. You know, people that talk behind my back, who say it to my face. And it's just like, that really tears me down a lot. And a lot of people don't agree with me being expressive about my anxiety and depression. So he's always taught me to just keep doing what makes me happy. He always tells me that every day. If it makes me happy, then keep doing it. Obviously, if I'm not harming myself or anything like that, which I never would do, it's just, you know, something that he tells me that this is my life. And if I want to talk about my anxiety and my depression, then, you know, I keep on doing it. If, you know, I want to help other people express themselves and be more open and, you know, not be ashamed of themselves, like, keep on doing that. Even if it's just helping one person. He's always told me that. And he really did save me from a very, very dark place. And I'm just very grateful for him. And I'm happy he's my best friend. And I'm happy that I have him. He has ways of bringing me down when I, you know, feel a little bit anxious and stuff like that. I don't know how to really express it in words how he feels, like how he makes me feel without getting like crying on camera. So just to make it simple, Vincent really did save my life, and I'm really happy that I met him. So basically, like I said, I'm so happy that I met Vince because he did save me from a very dark place. And I get to marry him in almost 4 months. So, the last question from my journal is, are you okay now? And yeah, I mean, there are days where I am really depressed. I don't know why. There are times where I'm really sad and I don't know why. There are times where I'm anxious and it's just like, it comes out of nowhere and hits me like a wave. It's just, you know, it's very hard to explain to people who don't understand. It's a work in progress with people like Vince. But, you know, as long as you have a really good support system and you believe in yourself, you have faith in yourself, and you know, really work on self-love and self-care, you guys will be fine and you'll be able to get through it. That's something that I've learned in the last few years. I also think it's very important to talk about this. I have realized that, you know, a lot of people when they hear anxiety and depression, especially depression, they kind of like hide it or push away at it. And this is why I'm trying to, you know, create my channel and these videos to show you that this is something that has to be acknowledged. It cannot be ignored. And I'm hoping that someday I make an impact and I can show people that, you know, this is something that's really important. But as for if I'm okay, today I am wonderful, I am great, I am happy. But there are some days where I don't feel okay, and that's all right. I know that I will get through it. Like I've told you before, if you do feel these types of ways, you will get through it also. So I'm going to try and get through my MacBook questions as quick as possible. But I didn't actually think this was going to be that long, but I try and be as detailed as possible. I'm not trying to just be like, yeah, I'm fine, or, you know, yeah, I do this, and no. Like, I'm trying to be helpful. So one question I got was, what are the consequences depression can lead to? So the first thing that pops in my head, as scary and sad as it may sound, is suicide. That is also something that, you know, recently with celebrities, it's been happening a lot. And I feel like that's when people are starting to really branch out and talk about it. Like, other popular celebrities are really trying to talk about it, especially on YouTube. And kudos to you for, you know, talking about your anxiety and depression. But this has been going on for so many years. It's like, why do celebrities have to pass away or, you know, commit suicide for other people to really talk about it? I just think that's not okay. In my opinion, I mean, I'm entitled to my own opinion, but I do think that with depression, if it can get really severe, the consequence of that is suicide. And I don't want any of you, any of my viewers, anyone at all, your friends, your family, to ever think about not living. That is something, I don't care if you're super young, like 12, 13, 14, in high school, in college, older. You are meant to live. You have a purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is yet, you will figure it out. I just, like, my lawnmowers have a purpose right now. Disturbing my video. I'm just kidding. No, but in all seriousness, guys, it's really, really, really important to, if you do have feelings of self-harm, of suicide, to really contact those resources I put in my last video. And if I have to, I will put them in the description in this video as well. I think I'll be doing that for every bravery related video. But yeah, just basically, if you ever have thoughts of self-harm or suicide, please reach out to somebody. Reach out to me. I don't care. Please, just don't ever, ever, ever think about not living. It is the most terrifying feeling. I get it. I understand. But it is not worth it. It really isn't. And sometimes, you know, people are out there and they'll be like, oh, you know, they attempted suicide, or they think about suicide because they want attention. No, sometimes we just want to be saved. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that like, oh, pity us or pity me. It's just like, sometimes we just want to be saved. We want to feel like we're, you know, someone out there genuinely loves us and is there for us, and we can go to them and, you know, not be judged. And I completely 100%, guys, I completely understand that. And I'm sorry, like, if I'm just like, ugh, but like, it really does hit me, because I've had family members that committed suicide. I had friends that committed suicide. I've known people. It's just, it really, really upsets me. And it's not worth it, because once you even attempt it, there's a 50-50 shot that you are not coming back. It is permanent. Permanent. And God gave you life because you were supposed to be here. And I'm not a really, really religious person, but I do believe in God, and I do believe in purpose, and I just really hope one day that I could save 1, 2, 3, however many people from ever feeling like they deserve to not exist. Sorry, it just really upsets me. So my next question: how do you ask for help when your parents don't understand mental health? So I was a child, a teenager, a 20-something-year-old with a parent, Sarah, my mother, who did not understand anxiety, depression. And I mean, like, did not understand anxiety, depression. She still doesn't get it. And I'm not, like, belittling her. It's just very difficult for her to, I think it's really difficult for her to accept that I have anxiety and depression. She just doesn't really understand. It's really difficult for me to express it to her. I don't talk to her about it because I know she doesn't get it. And I feel like sometimes she may judge me a little bit. So I don't really talk to her about it, so I understand. As for my father, he lives with mental illness. He has a bunch of mental... As for my father, he actually lives with different mental illnesses, so he kind of understands it more. He helped me a little bit with it and understanding it, but he's just somebody that is just not a good person to go to advice for in general, no matter what the situation is. So as for how do you ask for help, I still suggest you to ask for help. Even if it's just asking your parents, like, I feel like I have anxiety and depression. I really, would like to sit down with you and talk about it. Suggesting a therapist or a psychiatrist, and maybe getting the full, diagnosis of it, and maybe that will show them that, hey, my child has anxiety or depression or both or whatever, and they can help you. Sometimes I do know that, there are therapy sessions where, how you have the parents and you can go together and work on it together. It is actually very beneficial if you're young, especially if you are, dealing with a mental issue, mental illness issue, and involving your parents and working together and collaborating ways that you both can work on it together, and they can help you, and they can know the signs and just stuff like that, because sometimes we like to close ourselves off. I know I do. And if they see that, they know how to approach you. They know how to comfort you. They know how to advise you. You know what I mean? It's really good for both you and your parent to really recognize what is going on. It's no matter what the situation, whether it's mental health, you know, you're getting bullied, stuff at school, having parents, even if it's one really good parent, it's always good to be able to go to them, because I feel like a child needs that. You know what I mean? And you'll understand where I'm coming from my last video. It's very, very important. And I hope when I'm a mother someday that, you know, my children could come to me when because Vincent isn't really a good person. Not good person. He's not really the go-to person when it comes to anxiety and depression and stuff like that. I am. I mean, I've dealt with it my whole life. So it's just like, I want our children to come to me and be like, hey, Mom, you know, I don't know what's going on, but I just feel really sad all the time. I want them to feel comfortable with me, you know? And I'm sure your parents want to be that for you. So give them that chance, sit them down. They'll respect the fact that you sit them down, you talk with them, and just be open. And don't be scared. Remember, everything in life is about taking risks, and that is something that you should take a risk on, because they are your parents and they love you. And if you feel like, you know, they do support you, and if you're scared what they'll think, at least you tried. And if your parents aren't your go-to people to talk to, go to your grandparents. Go to an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a brother, a sister. There are plenty of options. And trust me, I went to different options throughout my life. And some didn't work out, some did, some flopped, and then like maybe 5 stuck with me forever. You know? If you're suffering from depression or anxiety, tell me how your fiance handles it. So I'm going to just say this really quickly because my video is getting really lengthy. We are going to be doing a full video of that topic, where I sit there and explain myself, my anxiety. I'm like currently working on this big like letter thing to specifically him, and he's going to talk about, you know, his feelings from that letter. He's going to talk about, you know, how he handles it, you know, how he approaches me, and, you know, just how we work together. So that'll be a full video, probably a long one. So we'll see, because my videos are always long. How do you cope with anxiety without meds? Again, I was on medication for a while, for a year, but they put me on too many meds on a short amount of time. So that really messed me up. So I'm not on medication right now, and I haven't been for a while, so that's really good. Not that I'm against medication at all. I actually do know that medication works for a lot of people. It's just I have tried to go the more natural, holistic way. I'm again going to have a self-care, self-love video, so that will really, and I swear it's going to have, I'm going to have a lot of content where I explain a lot of what I do to really cope with everything, so just stay tuned for that. Any natural supplements, I actually don't, I've seen a bunch, but I've never taken any. I have changed my diet. Like, I eat a lot healthier now, and I feel a lot more energized and better. If you want me to talk about some of the foods that I consistently eat, I can do that in a video. Just let me know down in the comment, I almost said downstairs, in the comment section down below. What have you found to be the cause of your anxiety? I explained in my last video that it was, it started with my parents, specifically my father. So definitely check that video out, because I will cry in this video again. Are there different forms of depression and anxiety? So again, another video, I'm going to explain at least my personal experience of my scales for anxiety, my scales for depression, each level sectioned off, and how I feel during those levels. So again, I'm just trying to answer like really straightforward questions, because I do have so much content in mind for this stuff. So if you guys are interested in seeing those videos, again, let me know. And yeah, that was actually the last question. Wow, that was actually the last question. Was it? Yeah, that was the last question. So that was the last question. I probably said that 7 times. Yeah, so basically I probably answered about 15-ish questions. I know a lot of them were based off of future videos, and I'm sorry. I just want to be able to help in this video. I want to be able to answer your questions in this video. I also just want to make sure that I have enough content to help you and really focus on specific topics. I hope you understand. Also, I really do hope you enjoyed this video and getting to know me and my personal views and my answers to your questions. I do appreciate you guys so much for really sending me your questions in the last week or so. You know, I really do appreciate it. I have been getting a lot of feedback from you guys from my last video about, you know, how much it helps you and inspires you, and that's all I want. That's really all I want. I just want to be able to inspire at least one person. And remember, like I always say, don't ever feel embarrassed or ashamed or the feeling to hide because you have anxiety, depression, or a mental illness in general. No. That's just unacceptable. Do never hide who you are. And again, anxiety, depression, and mental illness does not define you either. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for those who participated. And I did enjoy making this video as much as my room kept overheating. What else is new? But yeah, definitely leave me comments down below. Let me know certain videos you want to see. Let me know if this, you know, you like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, the little red rectangular button. And follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, oh my god, Twitter, at Caylbarb. I'll have it down here or down here. I don't know where, but it's going to be over here somewhere because I just inserted it in iMovie. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And remember, if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say it at all. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys. Thank you so much.